Welcome to the Rose Show podcast. Thank you for joining us today. I have the honor of being here with someone we all admire very much in our chess family, international chess master Cyrus Lakdawala. I hope I pronounced that right.
You did, and thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. You are one of the most prolific chess authors of our time. Your books, and we have quite a few of them, are
Wow.
so engaging, fun to read, and they make chess even more exciting and very special talent that you have that you work very hard with. But you're also a chess champion and you're an international
Uh,
master. You are,
yes.
you
Well,
are,
over the hill one, but yes,
but
fortunately they
still,
don't take away the title when you get old, otherwise I'd be demoted.
okay. And you're an amazing chess teacher, which comes through in all your books. So honored
Thank
to
you.
have you here. How
Appreciate
you
it.
doing today over there in the most beautiful city of San
Doing,
Diego?
doing well. So recovering from yesterday's medical mishap. Did you
Oh,
read about
something
like
about you
I
and the
went
treadmill. What happened with you and the
yes,
treadmill?
they made me do a treadmill test. The whole ordeal took like 3 hours, to go there, to wait, to do the test, to come home. And after the ordeal, the doctor said, "Oh, the nurse didn't plug in your monitors right. We're so sorry about that. We're gonna have to do it again." I went, "No." I don't know if you you're too young to have done a heart stress
Yeah,
treadmill
I
test, but
haven't.
they try to kill you. They push your heart to the level where you think I'm going to drop dead if they push it any more, and they do push it more. So they basically make you go until you feel like you just can't breathe anymore,
Oh.
and they just keep increasing speed and incline. They just keep
Mm-hmm.
increasing it until you think there's no way I'm surviving this ordeal.
Wow. Oh my
Anyway,
God.
so now they've rescheduled it, and I'm trying to
Okay.
weasel out. I frantically texted my cardiologist saying, "Must I go through this ordeal again?" And of course, he'll say yes, but so
Yeah, I know. These are all the challenges we face as we get older.
I
But
know it
we
sucks
want
to
you
get old, let
healthy,
me tell
though.
you.
We want Cyrus
Well, thank
healthy so
you.
he can keep writing books forever.
No, there's no forever in this contraption called the
Exactly.
body.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, it was just yesterday. I was 8 years old. I can remember it. It was just yesterday. And all of a sudden I'm 62. Like, what happened, It just went
Time.
by.
It does. Agree completely. Time just flies by. And we're on this continuum. Our souls are continuing for, keep continuing, but our physical existence, our bodies, yeah, like you
Yeah,
said, they do end at some point. So let's take care of them. And we want you to take good care
right,
of
right.
yourself because we love
Well,
your
I've taken
books.
some radical measures. I had to go on a vegan diet, which is
Oh.
no fun, but it's good. It's good for your karma, and you feel
Hmm.
better. I mean, I didn't eat meat before, but I ate dairy, and dairy is the stuff that clogs your arteries. But I
Hmm.
feel, but the problems that I had last year are all better because of the diet and new medications. So.
Good, awesome. Well, were you a vegetarian before you were vegan, or you were
I
eating
was a
meat?
vegetarian for ages, and I tried vegan one time for 3 years and felt great, but it's really boring. And then I fell off the wagon, or is it on the wagon? I never
Yeah, something.
remember which one. Anyway, I fell off the wagon and I went back to dairy, and then the heart troubles began again. So now I'm newly converted again. My new religion is to stay alive by being vegan.
That's good. It's a
Yeah.
healthy living, and I've tampered with I've done a little tinkering with the veganism myself, but I tend to be more vegetarian. I'm not a
Oh,
fan
are
of
you
dairy.
vegetarian?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
really?
eat,
Oh, you're
yeah.
lucky. You lucky, lucky person.
I
I'm
don't
totally addicted to dairy. I love
I
it.
yeah, oh, I like the cheese, but I don't feel so
Uh,
great when I have it. So I try to
oh, okay.
minimize and eliminate. I don't like to use like I think you'll agree. I don't like to use absolute words, like eliminate completely. It's so difficult because
Right.
then when I say that, I want it more, right? And it's like so, right? So what
Right,
I
right,
do is I minimize. So I try to
right.
minimize. And I do eat a little fish and like lean stuff, but
Hmm.
I don't care for it
Hmm.
much, the chicken and stuff.
Hmm.
So it's
Hmm.
healthy, right? I like what you said about karma. So it's and
Hmm.
that's very important. We need to be more conscious of other things and the
Well, we're
world.
Buddhists, so we don't eat meat anyway, so that wasn't the issue, but the issue was
Yeah.
dairy,
Mm.
basically, so
Oh, that's right. Were you
it's
always a
better for your
Buddhist?
karma to not eat dairy too, but
Yeah.
it's no fun. It's not fun, but
W- Were
it's
you
you've
always
got.
a, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, were you always a Buddhist or is this something that you became
No,
recently or?
I mean, I've been a Buddhist for about 35 years, and I actually practice very heavily. I practice like about 6 hours a day in a 24-hour period. I don't sleep much is how I do it. Okay. But I get up at about 3:30 every day and I meditate till about 5. And I do a lot of Dharma reading and it's just I incorporate it as much as I can, To
Love
me, it's the
that.
most important thing in my life. It's much more important than the writing or
Absolutely.
career, you know.
Spiritualism is very important. That's very impressive. You are very disciplined with that. I love Buddhism and the Buddhist principle. I try to
Oh,
incorporate in my life
uh-huh.
a very Zen mindset, Zen living,
Hmm.
but it's challenging. But I love it. And have you ever thought of writing about Buddhism and any of that
Um,
in
I
books?
don't feel I'm qualified. I mean, if you get if afflictive emotions arise within you, and they do within me, I don't feel I'm qualified yet. I mean, I can feel them reducing, I can see
Hmm.
them reducing, but I don't think I'm qualified to give others advice on, you know, how to live. If when I see an awful review and I think, oh, excellent, this gives me a chance to practice patience, then I can write a book on
That's when I
on Buddhism. But before then,
Yeah, well, maybe you could write a book on, this is just an idea, Buddhism with someone who has those emotions or something, right? What is that word you use? The type of emotions that you described?
afflictive afflictive
Really?
emotions, they're poisons. They're all poisons. Anger, um, craving, just ignorance of how things work. If you don't want that thing happening to you, then don't do it to anything else or anyone else. Don't do if you don't want it happening to you, don't do it. That's how I
Absolutely.
see it. If you don't want to live in a unclean environment, don't litter. If and etc. If you don't want someone stealing your stuff, don't steal. Don't take something that's not yours. So you can live your entire life that way. But basically, the goal is to reduce ego, which is the manufacturer of selfishness. The I is the producer of selfishness, and selfishness is the core of all our problems. If you believe in karma, clearly, selfishness is counterintuitive. It's counter. I don't know I'm not very good with words, as you know, but
Oh,
counter
yeah.
to.
I love
It's
it.
a senior moment thing, but it's counter to what is beneficial to you. So it looks like that's why people do bad things. They think that by doing this bad thing, I'm going to be happy. I don't believe that their happiness comes from doing that bad thing.
Hmm.
They're only creating future suffering by doing the bad thing, the harmful action. And
Mm-hmm.
the let's say, I bought this ring, this wedding ring for $5. Okay. And you say, hey, oh, wow, that's a nice ring. And I'll tell you, well, I bought it for 1,000, but I could let it go for 750. Okay. And you give me the 700, you fall for it and you give me the $750 and I swindle you. Okay. Now I think that that has made me happy. Uh, but that $750 I got was from past karma of doing something good. And all I did by doing this action was create future poverty for myself.
Mm.
I, it, Karma is like a seed you plant. It's, at least this is my belief.
Yes.
And so whatever you do, you're going to get it back, but in a much, much larger quantity. A small amount of good will bring a lot of happiness, and a small amount of harm will bring great suffering. And that's why it's all up and down our life. It's all happy, misery, happiness, misery. It's just like that.
I love that. Thank you so much for
But you
sharing
want to
that.
clean up the goal is to clean up your karma so that only good can happen in future lives. But of course, you have to believe in past and future lives. This is all beliefs, right? But let's say it's all nonsense. It's still a good system to live your life with. Let's say it's crap and it's not true. And when we die, we go out like a light bulb, let's say. It's still a good way to live your life. So I wouldn't be, you know, I have no problem living this way if it's wrong, if my belief system is wrong.
Absolutely. You've actually touched upon so many amazing thinking, and I have to point them out. Golden rule. That's the golden rule. Do unto others as you want done to yourself. So if you don't want to
Mhm.
do it done to you, don't do it to others. And that's just the golden rule. It's like universal. You have it in Christianity, Buddhism, everywhere. And that's very important. We need to do the right thing. And that's our goal in this life. And I love when you talk about karma, because we don't even have to say the word karma. I think we just know that we need to do the right thing. And then you have to ask, what is the right thing? And we go back to the golden rule that you don't want to hurt others. You don't want to do bad things, meaning if it doesn't feel right done to you, then don't do it to other people. And then
Mhm.
Pascal's wager, what you just talked about. What if there is no karma? What if there is no other life? Well, it's like Pascal's wager. The benefits I get by doing good and anticipating other lives, cleaning up your karma for future lives, still outweighs the other side. So it
It's still
pays.
a good life,
Yes,
exactly. You're
exactly.
still living a good life. You're benefiting others. You're
Yes,
benefiting yourself.
yes,
It's
absolutely.
there are many benefits to that life because you don't have the mental strain of doing bad things or
Hmm.
just and when I say bad things, I mean just being on Facebook, I see people just saying horrible things to each other, okay, that they would never do at face to face, right? It's kind of a coward's paradise, social media, because
Hmm.
um, you could be this tiny, you know, 80-pound guy and tell the 250-pound guy, you're a turd. I think you're a turd. And you're physically safe. If you go into a bar and tell the 250-pound guy, you could, you'll be looking for an orthodontist. You may lose your teeth, right? The guy could put a fist through your mouth. And so I guess Mike Tyson said it best. He said, something about social media has taught people that they can basically say whatever they want without consequence. This was after that incident on the plane where the guy was harassing him for hours and hours,
Hmm.
and Tyson just turned around and just clocked the guy and knocked him out, right? And at first he was arrested, and then they discovered the guy was just harassing him for hours, and they dropped the charges. And Tyson, I remember, tweeted or posted about this, saying, it's social media that's taught people that you can say anything that pops into your mind to anyone without any consequence. But in real life, that's not wise. It's an unwise thing. A guy could pull out a gun and blow your head off. We don't
Mhm.
know how the guy will react. He may just ignore you, but he may not. Tyson ignored the guy for about, I forgot how long, but it was hours. And he just snapped. At one point, he just snapped. I guess the guy poured water on him or something. And, not a smart thing to do, you know?
Exactly right. When we're online, social media, people seem to wear masks. It's like you're hiding behind, they're called keyboard warriors, and they go and
Hmm.
they attack, they cyberbully, and they say things to
Right,
people.
right,
It's like people are dehumanized and they don't think that
right,
there's a person there that has
right,
feelings, and they attack and they
right,
say the most vicious things. And I got to tell you,
right, exactly.
Twitter is another platform. Are you on Twitter?
I got off Twitter.
It can be
I
very
couldn't
toxic.
take it. It's just, yeah, it's just, well, I mean, I to tell you the truth, I wouldn't be on any social media, but my publishers want that. And so I said I'll be on Facebook and that's it. Don't
Mhm.
make me go on anything else. I refuse. Just Facebook, okay?
Exactly. Well, we're happy that you are. It's a great way to stay in touch with you. And it does seem to be more harmless than others, such as Twitter. But yeah, words, people say things online that they would never say in person. And it's unfortunate how much they hurt each other, because this is people here. We're all people. You touched upon so many great points. I don't know. I also study behavioral economics, so I look into the decision-making
Mhm.
process, which is involved with chess and everything we do in our lives. I like to say your life is a summation of your decisions. If you want to transform your life, change your decision making. And,
Mhm.
whether it's for having a better life, this life or the next, we want to always optimize our decision making and give up the immediate gratification for a longer term fulfillment. And like you said
Mhm.
about buying that ring, when you got that money, that $750, it's like, it's like you're robbing your future self. You're having poverty in the
Exactly.
future, and
Exactly.
right, and you want that long-term fulfillment, and that's
Right.
what we need to strive for. And we need to try to go into the different consequences and understand the ramifications of our decisions, and that's so important. And I love this discussion. There's so much thinking involved, and we need to. And actually, emotions are good, and that's a really interesting thought. Emotions are good. They tell us about ourselves. However, at the same time, we need to um, reduce and identify the reactions from them and the impulsiveness. And that's the key. It's like that anger that we talk about, and these envy,
Mhm.
when we see something that someone has that we don't have, and we could get
Mhm.
jealous or envious. So
Right.
what is that
Right.
emotion telling us? Maybe we're unhappy with something with ourselves. Maybe it's something we need to do for ourselves. So
Mhm.
instead of reacting in an angry way and hurting that person, stop and think about how we feel and think about ourselves. So before we react. So just so many
Well,
great things.
it's especially easy, for instance, to be gleeful when someone who's harmed you has problems or
Mm.
a disaster. Like um, I remember during COVID, one of my, you know, harshest critics died of COVID. And I remember thinking, oh, hooray, like great, and then I went, oops, that's not good
No.
karma.
Yes, exactly. I think they call it Schadenfreude or something. It's that German word that says,
Schadenfreude.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's a
it.
German word.
Yeah.
It means like malicious glee at someone else's suffering. But this is
Mhm.
even more special because it's the guy. who harmed you is suffering
Mm,
or had a disaster. And so the person who harms you, you love it when something terrible happens to them. And all you're doing is creating the karma for something similar for yourself. You have to look at
exactly.
the way I look at the world is, I mean, um, the the universe is mind. It's mind created. Okay,
Mm,
like there is no Rosanna. Okay, Rosanna has been created by my karma, and Cyrus
mhm,
has been created by your karma, and it's all mind. And this mental continuum is pushed by the volition of karma. Is the Buddhist belief? There's no there's nobody there essentially.
mhm.
There isn't some permanent entity. Uh, it's more like a mental continuum that's pushed from one action to another to another. And if you can clean up the obscurations,
Mm.
then your your wisdom and your merit increase where good things happen. Now, maybe it's a fairy tale, like I say, maybe but that's how I live my life.
I love that. Our minds create our realities. And I
Hmm.
believe that, it's about our perception. And it's also there's this beautiful quote, I think it's from Buddha, and it says, what we think we become.
It's the
And
first line of it's the first line of the Dhammapada. Yeah,
love that.
it's basically with our thoughts we make the world.
Hmm.
That is the end of that line.
Wow. See, that's
Like where you
profound.
if you yeah if you believe it, it alters the way you function in life. If you actually believe that.
I do believe that. And I find it so challenging. Exactly what you said about having glee, and just, these emotions that we feel, it's part of, it's hard, and that's why, Buddha was different than we are, right? We are human, and we have these challenges and these hurdles that we need to overcome and work through is it a path of enlightenment? Is that what you call, when you
Well,
get
it's
to
if you my wife and I have taken like what's called the Bodhisattva vows, where you basically give up on yourself, okay, and your goal is to basically benefit all sentient beings. And this is based on the assumption of rebirth, okay, because you can't do a whole lot in one life. And the way you can most benefit sentient beings is to become a Buddha and teach others to Buddhahood. But before you do, you're ignorant and you have to learn and you have to purify infinite negative karma, and you need infinite merit or good karma to become a Buddha. You can't do it. It takes eons. Uh, According to Buddhist texts, it takes eons to become a Buddha. It's not a one life deal.
mm-hmm.
So it's a bummer of a religion, 'cause you have to just keep working and working and
Yes.
working.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it gives you something to work towards, and doing the
Hmm.
right thing. Fascinating stuff. Thank you so much for sharing that with
Hmm.
us. I want to talk a little bit about your motivation for retiring from chess competition and
Hmm.
focusing on your writings. You were an amazing chess player. Okay. I know you want to say
Not amazing. I was okay. I was
you're
okay.
so
Not I
humble.
Amazing is Kasparov or
Okay, well, to
Carlsen's
me,
amazing.
international master, very
Hmm.
impressive. But you're very abstract and very deep thinking. And what made you decide to not compete in chess and to focus solely on your writings? Was there a catalyst?
It was mainly health concerns. I had a heart attack in 2016 at the board, And
Oh,
I still wanted to play. Nancy said stop playing, but I realized then that I was addicted to chess, and I quit a little bit before the pandemic in 2019. And I I realized after I quit, I thought I would miss it horribly. I thought I would miss playing horribly. I don't. I don't even really play Blitz anymore. I mean, I just play do training games with students. I don't play Blitz. I don't miss playing. I thought I would, but I don't. Um,
mm,
I'm uh, I'm a lot less addicted to chess than I thought, but I didn't realize it till I gave up chess. I thought I would just be totally miserable without it. But I mean, maybe I'm still addicted because all I do is write chess, so I'm looking
mhm,
at chess all day long, right? So maybe I
mhm.
haven't given up chess like I
I
think,
guess not. So, do you think the chess game itself, when you would play, it would really affect you, not like your whole body physically? Do you think that can get someone to be
Oh,
really in a stressful
the
state?
strain was unbelievable. Yeah, the strain of playing was just is unbelievable. Like especially at a professional level. I mean, when I was young and broke, uh, you know, Nancy didn't make much, and we live in a very expensive city, and there were times where it was I mean, I had to win this game, this final game, or we're in deep trouble that month. You know what I mean? We were paycheck to paycheck for 25 years.
Mm,
And things changed uh, later, I mean, with the books and our financial situation changed. But the stress of it was terrific. And I don't think it was financial. I think it was ego. I think ego
hmm.
was wrapped up in it. And it's just a huge, huge waste of energy to defend your ego like that all the time. And the higher you get, the more you need to defend your ego because anytime someone upsets you, uh, they throw their arms up in triumph, and then you get angry and you go, "What a turd! What an obnoxious turd!" And you're just defending your ego. It's just a waste of energy, I realized.
Yes, absolutely. Our three sons had being playing chess competitively at such a young age. I saw that in them.
Hmm.
It was a big emotional drain and
Hmm.
very stressful, and they loved it. So, what could I do as a chess mom? I mean, I let them
Sure,
play, but
sure.
my husband
Right,
and
right.
I both felt so bad. They would be so sad when they would lose. I mean, they would
Oh
cry,
yeah, it's crushing. It's
right?
crushing. I mean, I've had some losses where you just feel like the whole world is falling apart because
Yeah,
of that loss. You just feel you feel like you're a soldier in battle, and if you lose this game, you're going to die or
yeah.
be critically wounded. That's how it feels, especially when uh, in rapid games where your clock goes down to seconds and you're living off that five
Hmm.
second time delay and you're three
Uh-huh.
seconds on your clock, your heart rate goes crazy at that point.
Yeah,
So it's not a good
absolutely.
thing to be old and play rapid chess. I can tell you that.
Or bullet, like bullet chess, right? Oh my God.
Well, it is okay because it's online. I don't have that issue.
Hmm.
It's like who cares? But if it's a rated tournament game and there's money on the line and there's rating on the line and
Yeah,
you feel it. You feel it when you
absolutely.
lose.
Absolutely. And the worst losses I remember my with our sons, they would study so hard, prepare, gave up a lot of other things. They would do like 100 great moves. They were winning the game. And then they were waiting
One
for their
blunder.
one
Yeah,
blunder, right? And there
right,
goes the whole
right.
game. And
It's the cruelest game imaginable. I mean, it's like it, it's a in a sense it's the most, unless you're like Carlson or Ding or Nepomniachtchi, uh, it's absurd to want to be a professional chess player. It's the dumbest profession ever because you know uh, wouldn't you rather be a surgeon and make, 400,000 a year than, pray that you can win this $500 first prize so that you can pay your rent, your mortgage this month? I mean, it's an absurd profession. And I don't know any other game where amateurs put in so much effort as if they're professionals.
Mhm.
The training that goes, amateurs put in massive amount of training. And so you're facing these people who technically aren't professionals, yet they train like Olympic athletes. And so the level just keeps rising and rising, and it's harder and harder for you to excel when your opponents are also striving as hard as you are, right? So it's just a the I the reward is the creativity. You create a beautiful game, and
Yes,
there's the reward, you know. It
exactly.
and I think the other reward they think is a reward is the boost of ego, but that's actually a poison that
It is.
it takes decades to understand that it's a poison, but they crave that feeling, especially when you beat someone you don't like or a rival. There's a
Hmm.
tremendous feeling of exaltation when you beat a rival, you know, and you take away what's theirs and you take it, and you get all the glory and they're in the basement, and they're
Yeah.
living in mom's basement and you get the
That,
glory,
yeah.
you get the
Isn't
penthouse,
that thing with
So
the glee, having glee with Europe? And that's all part of that whole karma, right?
it's not so much I never had that the malice except for a few gigantic turds that I played, I mean,
Yeah.
but I didn't I I didn't like have that exaltation, but
Mm.
I felt it was my job to win, I felt it was
Mm.
my job to win. And if I can't win, then I can't justify being a professional chess player. I mean, I wasn't really a professional chess player. My highest rating was in 1994. It was like 2597
Wow.
US rating. Okay. That would be probably about 2650 today because of rating inflation.
Whoa.
It inflate, well, maybe less. I don't know. It inflates about 3 points a year.
Mm.
So, yeah, about 90 points higher than that, actually. So, um, because that was a long time ago. That was 1994. So maybe
Wow.
about 85 points higher.
Mm.
Anyway, so I was GM strength, but one of the jokes was of life was I I could not get to Europe. I didn't have the financial means to get to Europe for norm tournaments for to become IM or GM. And then later, when I got money, I got too old and I lost my strength. So now I can afford to go to Europe, but don't have
Hmm.
the power to become a GM. So it's one of the ironies of chess.
There are many ironies, it seems, but
Right.
you said something right. It's the beauty of the game, and that
Hmm.
is exactly how we have three sons that play. Our middle son, actually, he doesn't like following openings, and a lot of competitors his age
Hmm.
they memorize their openings and they have the
Hmm.
whole trees, and he was always wanting to be creative, and he would always create his own. He'd start with a few moves, especially from your books, and
Hmm.
and then he loved the B6 Owen. And I'm not a technical chess, I'm just
Uh-huh.
the chess mom, but he
Uh-huh.
loved that because it
Uh-huh.
was so flexible.
Sure,
And
and it's a offbeat opening too, so
he loved that.
probably his
Yeah.
opponents don't have. You could play B3 with white and B6 with black. Uh,
Yeah. The what is it, the
so
Nimzo Larson attack?
Nimzo Larson
They
attack,
love
right?
that. Our youngest loves that because
Yeah.
he's a hawk. And so he likes to attack. But
Well,
yes.
it's not the best opening for a hawk. It's the best opening for an iconoclast who wants to, or a rebel who wants to evade theory.
Yeah. Well,
It,
he's a
it is
rebel
a
too.
yoke. Theory is a yoke.
Mm,
I I lived in the there's basically two ages for chess. There's BC before computers and
mhm.
AC after computers.
Ah.
And BC was so much fun. AC is no fun. It's
The
no
rise of
fun.
the chess engine, right?
Yeah, you become a prisoner. You become a prisoner of the engine's moves.
Hmm.
And it takes away the creativity. There used to be so many fun gambits that now the engines have shown us, oh, I'm sorry, that's unsound. And
Yes.
here's the refutation. You can no longer play your fun gambit now. There's so many openings it's refuted and lines it's refuted. And the world championships are just absurd how far they go into their preparation. I just finished my chess autobiography. I sent it to Everyman about a few weeks ago, and there's a game in it where I have a couple of games with a few games with some of my students, and one became an IM, uh, and so I have a game of his. And he beat this Grandmaster with black on the black side of a French defense. And basically, we we mapped out that entire game at home. I mean, it was not there wasn't like one original move. It was all homework, right? The
Mm-hmm.
entire game was homework. It was all just mapped out. And is that chess, or are you a researcher? You're not a
Mm-hmm.
competitor, you're a
Mm-hmm.
researcher. It's different. In the old days, you were out of theory after so many moves,
Yeah,
it was fun. The not knowing was fun. I don't like the knowing everything where now it's all memory dependent. I
exactly.
actually think that I would have done much better had I been born later. Um, if I was born in 2000, I think I would have been a much stronger player because I had a near photographic memory when I was younger. Um, I still remember the shock, and it was just photographic for chess, not any,
Mm.
not too, it was photographic for chess and maybe literature. I
Mm.
I would I would never forget characters, in any novel I read. So it would be, and that's why I was a literature major. It was very easy for me. Like I'd just read a book and then I could write about it 8 weeks later on the exam, and it would be very simple, because I would remember the book completely, like every character, every motivation,
Wow.
every. But I remember it, I was it was a few months before my 43rd birthday, and I remember preparing this two-pawn sacrifice line on the white side of the Catalan, and my opponent played right into it.
Mm.
And I thought, oh boy, you're a dead man. I just looked at this, I'm going to win this. I've got all the analysis, and then like the sudden shock where I couldn't remember. It was the first time ever where I recently looked at a variation and I couldn't remember. Like I just looked at it 2 weeks previously. I could remember variations, like analysis
Mm-hmm.
for years after looking at it. I could remember, for years and years I could remember. Then I would need to refresh.
Mm-hmm.
But see, memory was not that important in the old days because the everybody nobody knew theory, so your opponents would play weird stuff, so you'd be out of book. Now, if they followed book for 35 moves, you could hit them on move 36 in a long variation of the King's
Wow.
Indian or
Yeah.
a Roy Lopez, and hit them with a computer move that, bam, and they go, what's this,
Mm-hmm.
and if you have the familiarity advantage, it's a massive advantage. You
Yeah.
could have played that position against the computer 20 times. And so when you're playing a human, they will be laughably weak in that same position. And so they're basically dead in that position.
Yeah.
But now it's all memory based, you know. I don't know your son that plays the Owens, but I like him. Okay, because that's
He said they've
that's a
been,
true chess player.
he
Pardon
is.
me?
I'll tell you, all three of them are chess players. And
No, but I mean that's the
yeah,
heart of a chess player.
but no,
You know,
all
the
three of them,
creativity,
yeah,
the creativity.
exactly. And they're all creative, but he's an
Hmm.
extreme version of that he
Hmm.
refuses to follow book. He wants to, he likes to go out of book immediately. And
Hmm.
what happens is, it's pretty funny. He goes so out of the book and he creates at the board. He loves that. And
I
that's the beauty,
I
right? He
I
loves
have
that.
some advice for him. I have
Mhm.
some advice for him. Create in advance on the computer. Try new ideas, but on play against the engine and
Mhm.
always play the reverse side. If he's playing the
Mhm.
black side of Owens, you play white and have the engine play the position that you're going to be playing and try out different things. Try out your idea on yourself. And then when you face the human opponent, the human will just put no resistance up in that position
Mhm.
because when you're playing the computer, it's just like playing this omniscient uh, alien, you know, like super alien who's
Mhm.
just infinitely stronger than you. And so when you play the computer over and over and over in the positions that you're going to get, um, your human opponent feels terribly weak. Um, every time that was my secret after the computers were introduced. I didn't like lose ground in when the computer. Some people didn't adjust well. Some of the old timers didn't adjust well to the computer era. But your son is making a mistake uh, with the creativity at the board. The
Mhm.
creativity should be in the research phase,
Exactly.
and the
Yeah.
board should be the execution phase.
Mhm.
So tell him to what you have to do is you have to reach what's called a tabia position, you know, a position that you're going to reach over and over, okay, and try out every possible idea against the engine in that situation. Try out everything you can think of and always play the other guy's side, the other
Mhm.
player's side.
Exactly.
And then you basically the engine gives you ideas and when you get hit with an engine move at the board, you just go, "Oh God!" You know, like you know you're being hit with engine analysis. Um, when I wrote the Nimzo Larsen attack, um, when they told me, "Do you want to write this book?" I almost declined. I went, "Oh God, 1B3. I'm going to drop 50 rating points." Um, and it turned out to be my highest scoring opening. I found out I do really well in strange positions and
Mhm.
in unorthodox positions, and
Yes.
with positions with fluid structures where they're shape shifting. The opponent
Mhm.
doesn't have a bead on you. You know, the opponent, if the opponent doesn't know where you are, they can't shoot at you. You know, they're just shooting into thin air.
Mhm.
And when you have an opening like modern defense, like 1G6, like very flexible structures, or
Yeah.
1B3 or
Mhm.
1D6, um, the structures are very fluid and they don't gel. Yeah, so tell your son to get the Nimzo Larsen attack and play it from both sides. You play this. Nimzo Larsen is different. You have the Nimzo Larsen?
Yes, we
Okay.
love it.
He's set. He is set. Okay.
Love it. We love it. And then my youngest son, he's the one that he's also, I think he's written chess books. He has this amazing thing. He hasn't published yet, but he
Mhm.
loves, they're like professors. So they love like studying chess, the beauty of chess, and
Right.
just the writing, because they're creating these beautiful
Well,
chess games. And yeah, so he loves the Nibs and Larson attack. Like that's his
Yeah.
favorite, the youngest one. And yeah, these are
The
great.
one wonderful trait about chess with with kids is they become accustomed to liking studying. And if you like to study, you will excel academically. There's no way you can't. Other other people, like, if they go to medical school, they go, oh my God, this is like a nightmare. Like, how am I going to keep this all in my head? But a chess player, like from youth, if you start studying at age
Yeah,
8, medical
yeah,
school, like, hey, this is easy, way easier than learning the King's Indian or the Roy Lopez,
right.
because there's just nothing harder than chess. There's a,
It's true.
I don't think there's anything harder. Maybe I don't know, theoretical physics or math. But but I haven't found anything harder than chess. And so
Yeah.
it's like overtraining. I had this student who was a professor at San Diego State, and one day someone talked him into doing a marathon, and he was 50 then. This was about 13 years ago, and he was 50, and he no training, and they talked him into doing a marathon, uh, and he did it, and when he finished the marathon, he went, "That's it? Like that that was easy," and he became an ultra runner at age 50.
Wow.
Um, and so every Saturday he would run 35 miles, that more than a marathon, and he would even do 50-mile races once in a while, these ultra runner races. And one time he did a 60-mile race in his 50s. I mean, to me, that's inconceivable. I like,
Wow.
like
Yeah.
if we walk Lake Murray, like, oh my God, 6.5 miles. Are you nuts? Like I'll
Mhm.
drop dead, But this guy would run like 35 miles every weekend. Every Saturday he would do it. And every day he would run, I don't know how many. But so when a marathon came to town, it would be like a little vacation for him. You see, like 26 point something is nothing if you're used to 35 every Saturday. And that's what chess does with study, because it's so difficult that, like, if they go to medical school, or they're in Harvard Law, or something that's supposedly very difficult, they're going to go, this isn't very hard,
You're
because
right.
I've done harder. I overtrained by studying chess
Yes.
from age 8 on,
Yeah.
and so they excel. And not necessarily even academically. I mean, just anything. If they start
Yeah.
a business, their research power will far exceed their competitors. They'll know how to take uh, data, and then make a good uh, final conclusion of, I should do this, and it will lead to that, because chess teaches you that, right? So
Absolutely.
there are many benefits to chess. I think the one toxic uh, part of chess is the growing of ego.
The poison.
I am my rating, and I am my
Yes.
chess. You're not. You're not even your body. At the end of your life,
Hmm.
you're not even your body. So how are you your chess? And let me tell you, as an old guy, you don't get to keep your chest strength. It's on loan. So no matter how strong you are, it's temporary.
Yeah. So
You don't get
detach.
to be as strong as you were when you were 33 as age 63. Sorry, it doesn't work. Your brain is a organic thing. It degenerates. And the funny thing is, I understand chess way more now, way more at age 62 than my prime at age 33. I understand. I look at my old games and I go, oh my God, I did that, you know? But I could not, there's no way I could match my calculation speed, alertness, spotting combinations, spotting patterns. I mean, I'm just like a shadow in
Mm-hmm.
that
A
portion.
shadow. That's
So the
exactly it.
old ignorant me would crush wise old me. I mean, young ignorant me would crush
Mm-hmm.
wise old me, even though wise old me understands chess much more than young ignorant me. you know
Absolutely, perfectly said. Yes, you've grown wiser as you've gotten older, and you've discovered it is.
Wise helps, by the way. Wise
Yes.
helps in writing and teaching because you understand and can explain, but you also hang a piece in your analysis. And so
Mm-hmm.
your play goes down, but your writing and your teaching actually get better. The older teachers are the better teachers, and I think
Mm-hmm.
the older writers are the better writers, but the younger are the way better players. There's no contest when it comes to
Absolutely.
actual play. You reach your prime about age 37, 38, maybe
Mm-hmm.
39 if you're lucky. But then you can't keep going. Your body fatigues in these tournaments. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can't play 3 full days of chess.
Exactly. In Stoicism, they talk about, detaching from these fleeting things. And if something's changing, you shouldn't attach to it and you shouldn't identify as that being you because you will be disappointed. As you said, to say, I am my rating and this is me, and every little point matters is just a poison. And you're just hurting yourself and you're ruining your karma because there's nothing you can't control that rating. And as you get older, it will come down because it's
Well, you
just
can't control your external in life. I mean, you can
exactly.
via your past karma, but that's over.
Mm-hmm.
You've set your future.
Yes.
And so what you have absolute control over is how you react to things.
Yes.
Like uh, you have to look at, okay, like yesterday when the doctor told me, oh, sorry about that. You're gonna have to do this again, and like the immediate reaction was like, are you bloody kidding me? Like, I mean, but then I thought, no, this is a perfect place to practice patience. And so you can alter it. Your reaction is up to you. The external is not up to you. That stuff is going to happen that you don't want
Mm-hmm.
to happen. I mean, all sorts of stuff is going to happen. In fact, it's inevitable. Like I don't want my body to get any older, but it's going to get older. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want a, aging, sickness, and death, but it's going to happen. I mean, as it will happen to everyone. Or I don't want accident. I don't want to be separated from my loved ones, or even the things I love, like winning chess tournaments. But I'm separated from that now. I can't win a chess tournament if I don't play, right?
Mm-hmm.
That so you're separated. You're there's a lot of there's happiness in life, but there's also a lot of pain. I mean, the unfulfilled wishes, you know, unwanted illness, being parted from that which we love, uh, the uncertainty of not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am I going to drop dead today? I could. Maybe I live to 90. I don't know. There's an uncertainty. Is my wife going to be alive next year? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people I want all the people I love to. I want only good stuff to happen to them, and I don't want them to die, but they will die, and bad stuff will happen to them because it's part of life,
Mm-hmm.
and you have no control over that. And so but you have control over your reaction. That's it.
Yes.
And that's everything, because there's a there's a quote, a Shantideva quote that says, I could, you know I could carpet the entire world with leather so that, it'll be
Mm-hmm.
comfortable when I walk, or I could put on my leather sandals.
Yes,
That would
exactly.
work too,
Uh-huh.
And basically, when you stop being frustrated and angry, um, you, every enemy in the world vanishes. Every frustration in the world vanishes. If you can train your mind that way. But the training is hard. You have to meditate. It doesn't work any other way. You must watch your mind, and there are many different techniques, but there's a lot of hard work in training your mind not to freak out when bad stuff happens. And even then, you flunk tests. It takes decades. It takes like
Mm-hmm.
I've been meditating since I was 12 years old, like maybe about 11 or 12, and it, it it's a very, very slow process, and it gets better and better. Like you see a reduction in your own selfishness. You see an increase in wisdom in that you don't act like a jackass uh,
Mm-hmm.
when things don't go right for you in the world. And believe me, it's time well spent. I wish they taught it in schools, but if they don't, do it yourself is my advice. It doesn't have to be, it can be completely secular. You just watch your breathing, watch your mind, and anytime your mind wanders away, bring it back to the breath. And anytime a thought comes, boom, you catch it, bring it back to the breath. And eventually your concentration power increases. And when concentration increases, good things happen in your life. Good things happen. Not just um, not just because um, you become smarter than other people, but because you see life as it is.
Mm-hmm.
We're right now we're looking at life through a delusional filter. And if you look at life through the delusional filter, you're set for unhappiness, because what you want isn't going to happen. Like, let's say you have a huge ego. Um, okay, like let's say I'm the famous writer Cyrus Lakdawala, and so I want you all in the grocery store to treat me with respect that I deserve. It doesn't work that way in the grocery store. I'm nobody, right? I walk in, only in the chess world am I, you know, the the big shot, right? Like, and I'm not even a big shot because big deal. It's a chess writer, the worst genre of all writing in the world. You know, I would be a multi-trillionaire if I wrote in any other genre, you know?
Yeah. Like finance or something, right?
Well, and imagine if I was one of the top, you know, sci-fi writers. I'd be
Ooh.
making, millions per year, right? But
Mm.
chess, not millions per year, okay?
Yeah, you said some excellent points there. The concentration's key. I try to meditate as much as possible, but they say the Zen Buddhist monk, the Zen monk, no, the Zen master, Henrik,
Hmm.
I can't pronounce his last name, but he says that if
Hmm.
you don't have time to meditate, means you need to meditate even more. And it's
Hmm.
true, it helps separate that action that occurs from our reaction. We tend to have a greater time span, and we're able to have control of our reactions. And Epictetus, the famous Stoic, I love what he says. He says, you can't control what happens to you, but you can control your reaction. And that is
Right,
so
right.
important,
That's
right? And,
mhm.
the
That's the
only
key. I
certain,
mean, it's the
Mhm.
it's the key to happiness, actually.
Yes.
It's really the key to happiness in life.
And the only certainty is uncertainty. And I've been saying
Hmm.
that for a while. And that relates to, the stock market or, life, in chess, anything. And, we just have to embrace that uncertainty. And, they ask that question, if you could know everything that happened to you in your life in the future, do you want to know? And I have to say, when I see those polls, most people say they don't want to know. How about you,
Hmm.
Cyrus? Would you want to know?
Um, Boy, that's a tough question. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. That's a 50-50 for me. I, in one respect, yes, because like, let's say I have a year to live, I would
Mhm.
give up writing and chess and only concentrate on Dharma practice. But uh, in other respects, like I say, the fun is in the not knowing. The fun is in the not
Exactly.
knowing. You don't know. Um, yeah, that's a tough question. I don't know which I would pick.
Right?
It's almost like a 50-50 for me.
Yeah, it really depends, but you don't have that choice if it depends. Either you know or you don't. And it's like if you find
Mhm.
out that, how are you going to be motivated to even accomplish anything if you feel something that's going to happen? It's a very tough situation. Something I think I would say I don't want to know. I think it's the mystery of life
Mm.
is exciting.
I don't believe in a fixed destiny, though. I don't believe in a
Mhm.
fixed destiny. I think
Yes,
you
free
can
will.
still alter. Yeah, I think you can still alter. I mean, there's a destiny in that we're born in a human body and it's going to die at some point. You're not
Mhm.
going to live to 1,000, and neither am I.
Mm-mm.
But um, uh, I can die a lot sooner if I take heroin or drink a bottle of vodka every day.
Yeah.
You have a choice of how to live. Like, I mean, okay, like I was in serious problems with my heart last year. I made a choice. I switched my diet. Now the diet is not fun, but I, you know, the alternative is to drop dead of a heart attack. I could see it coming. I could I could clearly see it because the chest pains, the shortness of breath were the same symptoms I had before a heart attack in 2016. It was the same. And I could see it's just around the corner. But with the switch in diet, it just suddenly vanished. And they took my yesterday, like my blood pressure is low, my cholesterol is low, my resting heartbeat is low. Everything flipped from, and I think it's mostly the diet more than the changes in medication. It's probably a combination of both. But you have choices in life. I can extend my life. It's
Hmm.
not. Let, let's say, if I just stuck to dairy, I don't think I would have made it to the end of this year. I,
Mm.
I, I think I would have had a second heart attack and probably a fatal one. So, I bought myself time. Now,
Hmm.
now, how much time that I don't have any power over. It might be, 6 months. It might be 30 years. I don't
Don't
know.
know.
So, but I know that the other way was fast. Okay, the other way was
Hmm.
fast. So
It may be your
you
higher
have
self. Yeah, higher self
you
telling
you
you
have
that.
a well. I I don't know that there is a higher self. I think that the everybody has a higher self in that what we call Buddha nature, but
Mm.
this Buddha nature is blocked with karmic obstructions.
Oh.
And if you can uh, Buddhahood is not something you gain, it's something to get rid of. It's you got to get rid of the
Mm.
obstructions, and then it was there all along. It's just that
Yes.
uh, it's blocked.
Yeah.
And if you can reduce your negative karma that's blocking these obstructions, um, then good things happen. is what I believe. This is just my
Yeah,
belief. Now, I know most people don't believe in this,
that's beautiful.
so
That's like the statue of David. Did you ever hear about that? The statue of David, and they say that if the artwork was there, you just had to chisel away at all the clay around it.
well, I
And
think that's what the artist sees. The artist sees the art within the stone, and
mm-hmm.
exactly like that, where
Yeah,
the
see,
art is in there, but it's blocked, and all
like
you have to do
yeah.
is get rid of the obstruction.
Mm-hmm. I love that. And in Buddhism, is it everything is one? We're all one?
Well, we yeah, I mean, at the ultimate level, yeah, but I mean, at a conventional level, no. I mean, you don't feel my pain, and I don't feel your physical
Mm-hmm.
pain. You know what I mean? But yeah, at the ultimate level, yes. But we live in the conventional world. But yeah, it's good to look at it that way. I mean, every every action you take will have consequence, either good, bad, or neutral. I mean, I guess neutral is no consequence, but um, a lot of our actions are neutral, but most of them are slightly good or slightly
Mm-hmm. And
bad
a sliding
for the
scale.
average person. Yeah,
Yes.
and so I believe that, let's say you're having it's a terribly hot day, and all of a sudden there's a cool breeze comes in, and you go, oh, that feels
Ah,
good.
yeah.
I I think that cool breeze is because of some good action you took in a past life. That
Oh,
it
I
that
love it.
this is Buddha this is the Buddhist belief. If you're a Buddhist, you believe that. Now it sounds nuts, okay? It sounds irrational and nuts, but if the universe is mind, then then it's true. If the universe is not mind and we are separate, then it's not true. That's a difference.
Yeah, I love that. That is such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Definitely want to explore that more. Cyrus, I have to ask you,
Mhm.
when and how were you attracted to this cruel game of chess?
It was pretty instant. When my father taught me when I was 8, it was just instant love. Um, I remember, I wanted to be a veterinarian. That was
Oh,
my
with
thing.
helping
I wanted to
animals.
be, yeah, I was obsessed with animals, like, I mean, I still give money to all these help the animal charities. But I remember very distinctly I wanted to be a veterinarian, and I was going to start studying books on it, and I was a natural studier from birth on,
Mm-hmm.
and but boom, as soon as I found chess, like, the hell with the animals, man. This is cool. I want to do this. So it was instant. But I had zero talent for the game, like zero talent. Absolutely no natural ability. First rating. Now remember, I learned chess at age 8. My first rating was at age, I think 12, and it came in at 1150. And when I was 17, my rating was 1795. Not a prodigy, okay? A not prodigy. But later, this is what my autobiography is about, because it's not about me, it's about my training methods. Um, I I came up with training methods, um, and they worked. And I realized if a totally untalented person like me could uh, be a really strong IM, then anyone, I mean, if you reach like, if you're able to reach 1700, you could be an IM if you're young. Not if you're 80. Okay, forget that. You've got to have youth on your side, but anyone could reach IM strength, like virtually, like any average player, if they're young. Like, what are your son's ratings?
They got it pretty. They started at 4. Well, Sebastian, the young one, started at 4, and the other one started
Mhm.
at 5 or 6, and then the other one started around 7 or 8. The
Mhm.
oldest one, they haven't played since before COVID. Okay. But the oldest one became master at 12. So he's like almost
Whoa,
2,300.
master?
Yeah. And then
The
the other
oldest is
two,
a master?
oh yeah, they
Wow,
got the
he could be.
US, they got the US record for the youngest three siblings to be masters and experts. They were really the
What?
Prestia
All
brothers
three of your sons are masters?
are no experts. They're the younger two are
Experts. What?
experts,
Oh my
and
God.
the
Wow.
youngest one became 2000. I think it's six or seven. I don't know, six. I think I don't know, something like
What?
that. And
Oh my
then
God. They could easily be grandmasters.
yeah, if
Tell
they
them right
want,
now.
I don't know. They're
If it's
it's
completely in their power to be grandmasters, all three of them.
that's
Okay.
what Irina Crush
I
said.
I beg you to buy them. What are they never pick my title that I want, but I think it's called Becoming an I Am. I
Oh,
beg you to
okay.
get that book for them because it's my training techniques. If they use those techniques, I promise them. I give me a piece of paper. I'm going to write it down. I will write it down and give you a
Yeah,
written promise. All three can be GMs. But it takes brutal work. My
that's the
father
thing.
actually
Yeah.
taught me. My father was a wannabe Olympic athlete, just like my uncle was. And they came very close. They came very, very close, to qualification. But he taught me to train. My father taught me to train in chess as if I was an Olympic athlete, an
Mm-hmm.
Olympic hopeful training for the Olympics. If you train like that, all three of your kids will be grandmasters. You will be the only mom in the world, okay, ever, probably ever, okay,
Yeah.
with three grandmaster kids.
Yeah,
Okay, tell them this. Tell
I
them this.
will.
Get the I get this book. I beg you.
I
I
will.
beg
I
you.
will. We love all your
Okay.
books, so I'll get it for sure.
But
And then,
all the others don't matter. All the
okay.
others don't matter. Only this one,
Yeah.
Becoming an I Am. It's not out yet. When
Mhm.
it comes out, get this book.
I will definitely. Thank you so much. They actually are focused on college now. The 13 and 15, they're all in college. The 13-year-old is
Oh,
studying.
really?
Yeah, that's what they did. Like exactly what you said. And that's what I wanted to tell you. You're
Huh.
100% correct. Well, I don't like saying 100%. You're 99.999% correct. They
Man, you
studied,
have like the three
I
smartest
had to,
kids in the
they
universe, or
studied,
what? Like,
well, they studied chess, like you said. They studied
mhm.
chess 5, 6, 7 hours a day, and they were
Right,
homeschooled.
right.
And at 4, five,
Huh.
6, 7, 8 years old, we went to the World Cadet. They traveled. We traveled every weekend for
Wow.
chess. We were in we played the Pacific Coast Open too. We came to West
Huh.
Coast, and we went to Brazil. We went Costa Rica. They
Huh.
got bronze medal. My youngest got a candidate master.
Wow.
So
Wow.
we lived chess for five
Huh.
years, 6 years, something like that.
Uh-huh.
And because of that, now
Uh-huh.
they're in college, and the 13-year-old studying
Huh.
neuroscience and physics, the middle one
That's
studying
amazing.
physics
That's
and computer
amazing.
engineering, and the oldest one's doing economics law. He wants to do something like that. And the oldest
Wow.
one has a photographic memory. He's the one
Huh.
that he does a Trumpowski attack, and he
Huh.
loves all he has very good, I mean, excellent memory. He's just wow. So he's
Memory
the
is a
master.
big advantage in chess, especially
Yes.
today, you know. But
And
I well, it's not hard to predict success for your three kids, great success for them.
thank you. And remember, it's
I do
not
need to
about
get going,
ego.
by the way.
No ego.
No, no, it's better without ego.
Mhm.
Just do the action, and the results will follow. That's the
Exactly.
way it works.
I agree. What inspires you, Cyrus, to keep writing? And let me tell you, I'm going to just tell you, you're a very humble person, but every book you write is exciting.
Mhm.
It's not like they become stale. They get more exciting. Your books are all exciting. What inspires you to just keep on going?
Um, I it's just a creative outlet. It's just a creative outlet. It's a writing is just the next addiction, and that will, I'm hoping one day to break that too. Chess was the first one, writing is the second. It's just fun. I do it because it's fun. That's the only reason. I mean, and I like it when it helps people, you know.
It
And
does.
I want the chess books to be fun. I don't want them to be chores to get through. That's another reason I write, because there's uh if you think about it, the Jeremy Silman and me, we're like two of the only chess writers who use humor, and we're two of the top. He's the absolute top, but it, but the critics don't like it, and so there's a disconnect. Why are we successful? It's because it's fun. I mean,
Hmm.
chess is not a religion. I'm sorry, but it's not. It's a really cool game, but there's nothing um holy or sacrosanct about chess.
Hmm.
It's just a game. It's a really cool game, but I can use humor and Jeremy can use humor and people are going to like it. And tough luck for the critics if they don't like it. That
Yeah. Do these
we don't
critics,
write for you.
yeah, right. Do these critics, do you ignore them or do they fuel you to do even more and to keep creating?
I just don't care. It doesn't. I don't read any reviews. I mean,
Mhm.
sometimes I find out about them accidentally, but it it doesn't it doesn't sort of register because I don't
Good.
care.
Good.
I mean, I prefer good reviews to bad reviews, but
Of
it doesn't
course.
affect how I'm going to write. I'm going to write the way my readers want me to write, and not how they want me to write. That
I love it.
that's
That's
how it
that
works.
mindset right there is so admirable because it's like you can call it a champion mindset, you can call it just a positive growth mindset, but you continue with your life purpose and what you need to do and you do what's right and you don't let other people affect you. And that's an
Well, I
important
mean,
thing.
there's no such thing as a person who doesn't have critics. Okay, like
Yeah,
you
everyone
could be,
does.
um, you know, you could have the return of Jesus, the return of Buddha, the return of every one of the great humans in history, and someone will say, "Hey, you suck." So it's just part of the deal of life. You're going to have critics. Not everybody sees the world the way you see it, and uh, people are not going to like your work. There's going to be people who don't like your work, and there's going to be people who like it. And so you don't worry about those guys. They don't seem to affect sales. Like, so well, I don't care what you say, you know. I mean,
Hmm.
maybe they affect some people because you can influence new people and say that this writer really sucks, and they can influence new people, but they don't change the fans. The fans know,
Hmm.
they know what they like and they know what they don't like. So
Hmm.
if they like my style, they'll just keep buying my
Yeah,
books. And if they don't like my style, that's fine. They won't buy my books. That's fine too.
very
I don't
smart.
worry about it.
That's wisdom right there. I love that. Well, we love your books and we support you. So we're in a
Thank you.
clear
Thank
example
you.
of that.
So
I didn't even
I've
I didn't even know there were that
valued
many critics.
customers.
Yeah, right. I didn't even know there were that many critics. I guess I don't read or anything. We just know we love the books, and
Hmm.
that's it. A Cyrus book is a great book to us. Uh,
Well,
so
thank
thank
you. I
yeah.
appreciate
And
that.
I
I
heard
appreciate
a
that.
little birdie told me, you're welcome. A little birdie told me that you like to write in bed. Is that true?
I am in bed right now. Look. Here, there's the
I
bed.
love it.
Can you see? There's my
Wow.
feet.
You create in bed.
I write with a laptop in bed. Um, this is my office. I have this uh, I have this incredible office. Okay, I've got this magnificent desk. Okay, like it's like this $20,000 antique desk. Incredible chess library, chess room. It's the most wonderful office. I I have yet to write one word there since we moved here for a month. Not one word. I just it's for show. Okay, I write in bed on my laptop here.
Oh, wow.
So,
I love it. Now, what is your writing routine? Do you write daily?
oh yeah, 7 days a week. Yeah. Like I say, I wake up around 3:30, I meditate till 5, and I write from about 5 uh to about 7. Then I go for an hour walk, and then I write from 8 to about 11:30, and then I write more in the afternoon.
And then you have a
Then I do,
vegan lunch, right? A vegan lunch in between that.
unfortunately so, yes.
No
And
ghee for
then
you.
a little more in the afternoon, but I try to write like I, I would say I write like maybe 4 hours a day, 7 days a week. About 30 hours a week I write.
Very nice. And what are you
So
working on right now? What's your next big project?
right now I'm working on, well, I'm working on multiple books. There's one on the lesser known games of Bobby Fischer. I'm working on a book called The Greatest, uh, and I'm working on a 3-volume series with Karsten Hansen on the Roy Lopez.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a book just came out yesterday on I am Michael Bassman's games.
Mm.
He was one of the most creative players of the 20th century. He would only play one G4. Yeah, I'm not only, but he would often play one G4, which is considered absurd as a first move. But he's like your middle son. He did not want to go into normal theory. He made his own way in the chess world, But he knew his stuff. He knew his theory, but nobody else did. That's the problem. That's how
Yeah.
he won. But I mean, it was almost like he gave odds to his opponents. He was a former British champion. He was a very strong IM. Um, he would have been like a GM by today's standards, I think. And he
Interesting.
absolutely would have been a GM had he played normal openings,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Oh, sounds
But that just
exciting.
came out yesterday.
Oh, great. We have to
So,
check that out.
and then I just sent my autobiography, like I said, a few weeks back. So, there's about
Exciting.
5 books,
Wow.
five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books, 7 books altogether.
Oh gosh. Wow. That's amazing. And last
Yeah.
question I have for you is what is your greatest challenge with your writing, if any?
Greatest challenge is physical issues. My hands are going from too much writing. Just physical challenges. Just sitting so many hours is tough. Um, Exhaustion. I don't like to write when exhausted. Um, like I say, I don't sleep that. I mean, I sleep like maybe 5 hours a night. But I I it alters the writing when you're exhausted. So I don't, and I get tired quicker now that you're older. Now when you get older, you tire easier. But I don't tire mentally though very much. Like I'm used to concentrated effort from morning till night. I can do that just from being a professional chess player. You just study, right? So it's normal to study for 7 hours a day, like
Mm-hmm.
like your kids.
Wow. Well, thank
I'm
you
I'm
so
actually I need to if I live long enough, I need to monitor how your kids are doing 10 years from now.
Thank you so much. Well, we're going to keep an eye on you as well.
Okay,
Thank
well,
you.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for spending this wonderful time together today in your busy schedule to speak about yourself and your writing and your Buddhism. You've enlightened us so much. And thank you for
Rosanna, I appreciate it. Thank you.
absolutely. Thank you. And thank you to
Okay,
all the
you take care.
listeners. Take care.
All right, you take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Rose Show podcast. Please visit rosannaprestia.com for more episodes. See you soon. All investment, real estate, financial, Legal and tax opinions expressed by Rosanna Prestia or on The Rose Show should not be relied upon as professional advice and are intended to be used for informational purposes only.